And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, that's right. We've got Podcast Dave under the control, so everything is falling apart because that man is useless. We need a new producer. I want a new producer now. What is wrong with that Scottish bastard? What's up, Josh?
Send in your applications, ladies and gentlemen. Send them in. Oh, man.
I have a couple of guys I could actually just send you guys over that have DM me, so I'll just send them to you. And you guys can make it pick.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need you to have them DM because you are just absolutely the worst. I mean, you did your timing, everything, and then you can't even speak English.
I know.
What is wrong with you? Can we do this again?
Yes. I think it's great. It's great. Hey, I want to know something, John. Were you up early? Like I was up early watching the U.S. get smashed today by the Netherlands? Fuck,
First
so
off,
annoying.
I was up early, but it wasn't to watch the damn soccer game. It was to watch the birth of my grandson, Jameson, who came into this world at finally 7:32 a.m. on December 3rd. Very nice to meet him. He was beautiful.
Did you really name your daughter name your grandson after whiskey? That's how tired I am right now. After alcohol? That's what you guys really did.
I know. First off, it's not you guys. I do not pick the name.
Yes,
I am
true.
I am the person that sits there and says, "Okay."
You get to hold him, give him loves, and then give him back.
That's it, dude. That's it. I put on his first diaper. Boom, done.
John, you didn't watch any of the game this morning?
No, I do not watch soccer.
Oh, you know what? I know I've said it a couple times.
I can't take guys falling on the ground acting like they got hit or hurt, and they're not.
Says the guy that falls from oak trees. Okay. Anyways, roll on. Next.
At least I had fucking 6 broken ribs.
You could have got up and done something. Come on. John, let's get down to the point here, though. Congratulations, my man. Your grandfather.
Thank you,
again. And Miss McCarthy, grandmother again. And then his first child, right, for your daughter? Yes, congratulations to them. And this is good. This is fun. They live on the farm with you. This is getting even better.
Oh, dude, your son's kids they're gonna be mutton riding.
So your son's kids are in
Cali, you.
But then your other son, he's in where he lives down the road from you about what, an hour?
Yeah, he lives about 30 minutes from me.
30 minutes from you? Okay. So and then they just had a baby.
Yes. Man. That's Logan. Logan is about, July 7th, so whatever that is.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. He's about 4
months. Do the math. Go ahead, John. Do the math. I'm not.
Coming up on 4 months.
Yeah, it's okay. So congratulations on all that. That's wonderful. New additions to the family are always fun. And as you get older, you're going to be able to sit back, relax, and watch them play around and wreck your house. Love it. Chasing the chickens, baby. Chasing the chickens.
I can have all that, or I could have Podcast Dave just go through all his.
True.
But come on, John, Dave, you got to come back, dude. You're not making it fun.
On that point, I just have to say one thing.
Let's hear it, dude. That's the way, my brother.
Oh, it's so great. Everyone knows that I read the comments. I know I'm a fool. Everyone's told me not to read the comments. Even people in the comments say don't read the comments. So I've gone through there several times. They're like, can you guys at least have Podcast Dave practice the questions before he asks them so he gets them right? It's like a big run-on sentence for him to get one question out. Yes, you do. I don't know. Well, whatever you do.
Well, yeah. I guess when you read, when we do the news, you kind of read out what we're going to talk about in a way. So it's not a question. You got to
shape out the question.
It's
a setup.
Hey,
it's not a very good one if people don't know what you're setting up.
Dave, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
And John is also a compulsive liar.
I'm so proud of you.
Hey, let's just stop inflating Josh's Homer Simpson head.
Dude. Hey, you know what was funny is I finally, when you sent that, Dave sends this thing of this, he puts out a tweet with this air balloon thing, helium in the head. And I didn't get it. And then I finally realized he was talking about Josh's head ballooning bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Am I right?
I don't know. I thought he meant like giving more gas to like us on the show. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, did it make sense to me? And then then I finally thought I got it. I guess I didn't. Dave is now saying no.
CTE is a dangerous thing over here. Okay, so we just got.
Apparently it is, because you can't seem to get sentences.
Boy, I tell you what, I don't know what they did to you as a child in Scotland, but they had to beat the shit out of you.
It must affect. CTE must affect your speech.
I don't want to relive my high school years. Okay, I don't want to relive my high school years.
If you guys have not followed Podcast Dave, you guys have got to go on his Instagram. What is that? Podcast Dave, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you guys scroll all the way down, there's a picture of him trying to look like Eminem back in the day. It's so great. So great. There's several of them, but there's some that are hilarious.
Did you see my story last night on Instagram? Oh, man, it's the best. Tanya sitting next to me, and she randomly opens Instagram, and she's like, what the fuck is this? I had posted on my story a repost from like a Scottish tweet, and it was, it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong, but it takes an even bigger man to give a giraffe a haircut.
I did see that one. I thought you were talking about maybe a photo you posted of me back in the day.
No.
Those are all comical, the ones that... You know what's funny is normally I don't understand your Scottish humor because it's so bad. But that one I did get. I understood. It was pretty good. John, I'm a little upset. I got myself up around 5 a.m., which is the normal time I get up. But I got up to kind of like organize some breakfast, get to sit down, get ready to watch the U.S. National team play in the World Cup in the round of 16, which is the knockout round.
Yep.
They played the Netherlands, and I was like, you know what? The Netherlands are beatable. We got this, and we started off strong. We're about 5 minutes in, a couple shots on goal. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's just keep this momentum going. They get the ball down there on one try. Boom, cross the ball to the top of the 18, and bam. Great shot, great placement, great placement. And we were just fighting from behind the rest of the way. We had a bunch of great moments in the game, but gosh, man, I was so frustrating. We had about 7 to 8 shots, I think, on goal by the end of the, maybe even more, by the end of the game. We had more than that. The Netherlands had about 7 or 8 shots. They scored 3 goals.
Yeah, but it's the quality of the shots on goal.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. We just couldn't find a way to mark up the people that were running down on our end of the field. That drove me absolutely nuts. We were ball watching. Like, we mounted an offense, had our shot on goal, and then as everyone was kind of just jogging back, they were on the counterattack, and we were jogging back with our thumbs up our asses and just letting them get down there, cross the ball.
I got the answer, dude.
Yeah,
I got the answer.
Don't watch it.
Well, that or Ted Lasso.
No,
we got to hire Ted Lasso.
I can't watch dumb stuff.
Oh, that is hysterical.
See,
you got to watch that show.
People have tried to get me to tune into that.
It is great.
You know what else? You know what's funny is we work with a bunch of people that live in New York, and I don't know. I'm assuming.
What are you doing right there?
Me?
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, I was yawning.
Well, stop that.
No, man. You have a flight at 5 a.m., correct?
I'm not sleeping.
I
am going through this entire thing. Look at this. I went from early in the morning, gonna have my grandson going out doing stuff for people, getting things. 7:32, he's born. I'm still up now. It's what? I can't even tell you. At my time, holy crap. We're looking at, it's 1:53 in the morning. Jeez. And I have a pickup ride at 5:45. Figure this is going to take us, 2.5 hours?
About 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you make pure life decisions.
Life's easy, dude. Just go. Just go.
Yeah, so this is so I was a little upset with the fact that they just didn't play very well. And then I watched the Argentina game. That was a pretty good game. Back and forth a little bit here and there, and then good stuff though. I'm excited about the World Cup. I do get excited about the World Cup. I played soccer my whole life. Grew up playing soccer, wrestled my whole life, but I definitely enjoyed playing soccer a lot. So,
well, let's talk about the important game that went on, because that was TCU playing Kansas State for the Big 12 championship, and Kansas State in overtime takes TCU's undefeated season and stomps on it.
Wait, you said that
Boom.
was the important game? That was the important game?
That
You
was
didn't
an
see the
important
one
game.
yesterday when USC got romped?
That was
by
yesterday.
Yeah,
that was
but
yesterday.
We haven't done a show since
You were
couple
talking
days
about
ago.
you were up early and you're watching the World Cup.
USC blew it.
Boy,
Jesus.
they didn't blow it. They just got their asses whooped.
It's just horrible, right? They lost. And the funny part,
That's the second
they
time
lost
they
to the same
Utah.
same team twice.
Which is not
Come
easy
on,
to do.
guys. Come on, man. Look,
That was your chance to go to the national finals, go to the championship round.
They're still trying to say they're still in it.
Oh, God, no.
I can't imagine how they could be. They're trying to put Alabama in there, though, which is just ridiculous.
Of course they are.
Of course. But I mean, if you're going to put anyone in there, I mean, I can't imagine them putting TCU over USC.
Well, how do you put Alabama over? And I truly don't think TCU has the toughest schedule, and that's a big problem with them. But they only lost the one game. All right, so Ohio State has lost how many games? One game.
Yeah, Ohio State's are they going to be the one that goes in?
How in the hell can you have Alabama losing 2 games going? No, I'm sorry.
I think Ohio State's
does
got
not
2
go-
losses. I think Ohio State's got 2 losses, don't they? Dave, can you look this up? Dave, let's get on this. I know you want to talk about fight stuff, but this is kind of important. We're talking about the college playoffs.
I thought they didn't have any losses until they lost to Michigan.
That's true. Did they?
Okay.
You would be right. Sorry, you would be right. You would be right. Okay, then what was I? Who was I thinking then that had 2 losses? Alabama's got 2 losses.
Alabama's got 2 losses.
Yes.
Freaking Georgia is destroying everybody. LSU has multiple losses. Tennessee has multiple
LSU
losses.
got lost today too. Yeah, it's going to be Georgia, Michigan. It's going to be 1 and 2, right? You would think Michigan be
That's
first.
1 and 2.
Yeah,
Georgia
1
and
and
Michigan
2.
will be 1 and 2, and it should be Ohio State and
Either it's either going to be them, USC or TCU.
it's not going to be you. You can't lose to the same team twice and freaking go to no.
That's true. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. So you're going to say that you think they're going to put TCU in there?
I don't know how you don't.
I just think I think they're going to look at it as name value. And
They do
USC's
look at
got
it as name value.
Yeah.
but,
I mean, they could leapfrog. Who else? You have the actual what's it called? Their win-loss records. Jeez, what was I thinking about? No.
Are you asking me?
Yes,
First off,
Dave. I asked you to pull it up.
Don't ask.
I don't know what you're asking me to look up. You said
We
Alabama State,
understand you
Ohio
don't
State.
understand this.
I said their
I just-
records.
like I said,
Ohio State's
Let's
record.
just start
Ohio
this
State's
thing
record.
over again because this is just
Jeez,
going
that's
downhill
ridiculous.
fast.
Oh man, there it is, right there. There it is. So you got Michigan ahead of them. You got Ohio State 6-1. You got Penn State 7-2. So just the top 2, and then pull up Alabama. Pull up the SEC.
Pull up SEC.
Yep. SEC. Yep.
Because it'd be Georgia will be number 1.
Yeah. So that. Yeah, it'll be Georgia. No. That's the SEC. That's the West.
No,
yeah, you have
Go to the
Alabama at
other
the
side.
top.
Yeah, at 6-2 in their conference.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No,
man.
you can't
10-2
do
overall,
that.
though. 10-2 overall.
Yeah, but still.
All right. I mean, I'm basically gonna say that I can't see Bama getting
Here,
in.
go to
They're
the
gonna
other
try to
side of the
at least
Go to
get
the
a win.
SEC East. Go to the SEC
What does that mean?
East.
This is like me telling you about WWE. Like you guys would have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Dave
You
has
gotta be
no
more
idea what we're
specific.
talking about. We say football, he starts pulling up the European Soccer League.
Oh my God, this is
This
horrible.
is so great. I love it.
Go to
You
go
guys-
to
What do you want?
go to Georgia football.
Just,
That'll
yeah.
be that'll
Pull up
be the
Georgia's
SEC
record.
East.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I
Georgia
love this
record.
guy.
Yeah, it says SEC.
Oh.
Okay. Now, okay,
Ooh.
even there, Tennessee is 6-2,
Yep.
same record overall, 10-2
Mhm.
as Alabama, and they beat Alabama. You can't put Alabama in there.
Yeah, they're gonna
bull.
basically say that Alabama lost 2 close matches, and that Tennessee lost in a blowout by 1, and then one barely, or lost
That they
another one barely. Yeah,
lost to
their losses were
An 8-4 team.
or something like that. That's what they're gonna say.
Yeah. Guess
All right, well,
what?
hey, you know what?
They have a win against them.
Yeah,
That's
you're a
all you
little
have to
biased
say.
though because you live in Tennessee.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Alabama does not belong.
Didn't Tennessee lose their quarterback for the season though? I thought they lost their quarterback. What was his name? Brooks, I think is what his name was.
No, Hooks.
Cameron Hooks. Was
Hooks.
it Hooks?
Yeah. Hooks.
Was it? What's the quarterback's name? I don't believe
Hooks.
John. Was it Hooks? Not Alabama, Tennessee's buddy.
Oh Lord.
Jesus Christ. You don't remember that Randy Macho Man Hogan?
Wasn't he the Iron
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Hooker.
man. Hooker.
Martell
There you go.
Hooks.
Hendon Hooker. Yeah, Hendon Hooker. That's it. All right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our football talk.
We're done.
All right.
'Cause
But hey,
we suck.
before we actually get started into some of this MMA talk, why don't you guys go to Weighing In merch? Weighing In podcast. Is it Weighing In merch? Weighing In podcast merch? Weighing In merch. WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our new apparel. We love it, man. We got to get some new designs up. We got some new designs up now. Some new quality shirts. Not the triple layer shirts, 5-layer shirts, all those things. It's going to be beautiful. I cannot wait to get my hands on some of these. As soon as you guys start buying them, I can start using some of the residuals to buy myself some. So, John's making me laugh.
Well, I sent you something, so you got to tell me when you get it.
Okay.
It's sent in the mail.
All right.
So.
Wait, is it a shirt?
No, it's not a shirt.
Oh, okay.
Josh.
Okay. What?
Oh, we got to talk after this show because I don't know what the hell you're talking about right now.
WeighingInMerch.com.
No,
Dave,
but
you never know what we're talking
I'm
about.
delirious right now, guys. I'm serious. I've been up pretty damn early and all day. Been
serious delirious.
cold, rain,
Seriously
been outside in the
deliriously.
rain. Seriously, deliriously. Okay, guys, let's get into some talk. Let's pull up one. Let's talk about one first. No, you want to talk about UFC first? All right, we'll go
UFC 42,
Orlando.
Fight Night 42 on ESPN. From Orlando, Florida, we had Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson taking on Kevin Holland. I got to tell you, it was one hell of a fight.
Yes.
But you got to tell me you were wrong. Just say it.
What was I wrong about?
Just you
No,
are so bad.
John.
So bad.
No, Kevin Holland was
So
the faster fighter. He just didn't throw straight punches.
He was faster, huh? No,
thought
he
he
was not
was.
faster.
He was faster.
He was
just
not
didn't-
faster.
He
In
just didn't
fact-
throw straight punches.
In fact, your man actually.
Oh, wait.
in the middle-
Oh, now we're giving
actually
credit
in
to
the-
my man. Now we're giving credit to my man.
Now,
my
now,
DC. Now
your
DC knows
man
what he's
in the
talking
middle
about.
of the fight. No, your man Kevin Holland in the middle of the fight, who I
Said he
think
was
is
fast.
fantastic. Looked over at Tom and said, "You're damn fast."
He is fast. He is. Just Kevin Holland was faster.
Yeah, dude, you've lost your fucking gourd.
No,
But it was a fantastic fight.
when Stephen Thompson throws straight punches, John, they get there
No, what do
faster.
you mean when?
He
It's
does.
mostly what he does.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They get there faster.
Sure, right.
Kevin Holland has no
Makes you
idea how.
fast.
The one straight punch he threw basically dropped Stephen Thompson. That was the only straight punch he threw. That was it.
That's what shocked Stephen Thompson.
And I'm like, what are you doing? And he let him up off the ground. He was having fun. And then he broke his hand. It looks like something's going on with the hand. Look, let's get into the fight. The fight was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Not fought very smartly by Kevin Holland, but it was a fun fight. I'm excited for both. Stephen Thompson looked a lot younger this
He looked
time
great.
around than he
He looked
did his
great.
last two fights. He looked phenomenal this fight.
But why did he
was-
look phenomenal?
He was accurate. He was very. I think
there was
he tightened-
multiple reasons.
I think he tightened things up, John. I think he's getting
Not
better
only
with
tight-
age.
He
Fine
had a
wine.
bigger cage. He had a bigger cage.
Oh,
He was
okay.
able to move, even though, and look, Kevin Holland was pushing
Yeah.
pushing to get towards him and stuff, and that extra space gives him the ability to move, where he wasn't able to move in that 25-foot cage in the same way, and they could trap him more. It made a difference in his fighting approach and his fighting style. It's more space.
You know what's funny is that I read the comments, John, after we dropped this podcast, the midweek show, and everyone's like, "Man, John's lost off his rocker." Da da da. Like Josh, I gotta agree with you, man. Kevin Holland's gonna starch him. Stephen Thompson's getting slow. I was feeling good about myself. Then I remembered I was reading the comments. I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
See, this is why I don't read the comments.
This is why I shouldn't fucking. I was gassing myself up. I'm like, yeah, fuck John, man.
Yeah,
I knew I
fuck
was
yeah,
right.
you
I
don't
knew
know
I was
nothing.
right. Yeah, fuck that shit. Yeah, believe me.
The one,
Shit.
like, and this is, I don't know how many times that I've said it. I love Kevin Holland as a fighter, and even after this one, even though, just like you're saying, I love Kevin Holland as a fighter. He is fun, but God damn it, son, it is a fight, and it's important that you win. And you had the ability to possibly do that. And I'm listening to his corner, I'm listening to his coach, and they're saying the right thing. Son, this is an MMA fight. It is. I'm all about you guys going out there and it looks good to let him up, but it's not giving you the best opportunity to come out of this with a victory. And the one thing that really surprised me out of the whole thing, Josh, when I look at it is, God bless Kevin, man. He doesn't give a shit about that payday because he got half his pay in that, as far as he didn't get that win bonus at the end that Stephen Thompson was able to pick up. And it's because fight IQ wise, I mean, his coach is right. When you hit the ground, don't let him up.
Yeah. And
I thought that was a big mistake of his in the fight. It really made a difference in the fight.
John, he made a lot of money his last fight against Chimaev. He got paid pretty well.
I know.
And I thought I had noticed that he was getting away from that up until the Chimaev fight when he made a lot of money. And then he went back to that a little bit this fight. I'm hoping this opens his eyes because he's got talent. He's got pretty good cardio.
God damn, he's got a chin.
He's got a chin. He took some headshots, head kicks, spinning heel kicks. He took everything. He needs to find something mentally in him to get him to stay focused enough just to get the win. And he'll have a lot longer of a career is one thing. Because, look, had he kept the fight on the ground probably in the first round or second round, whenever they kind of got in a scuffle there and they went to the ground, that could have changed the way the whole fight started going.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he was going to finish him.
No, absolutely not.
But it could have changed the course of the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When you watch, and I'm going to go back to soccer. When you watch soccer, right? When I watched the U.S. team this morning, they go down by 1 goal after having 2 opportunities to score, and you could see there was a little deflation in them. And then they started coming back towards the end of the first half with literally 10 seconds left. I don't even know if it was that much. Netherlands score again, and they just went into halftime feeling depleted. With this guy, you got to just slow Stephen Thompson down, threaten a takedown here and there. He was doing kind of pretty good in the clinch at moments, but then he kept breaking away. I'm like, you're winning some of the elbows and the knees, and he was dirty boxing him. I know he doesn't normally fight that way, and someone murdered me in the comments also saying, "Oh yeah, you're saying Kevin Holland's going to fight the way he never fights." No, I was suggesting that's the way he should fight, and if he did fight that way, it kind of would have worked out for him because he was hanging on him, he was elbowing him, he's taller than him, he's longer than him, his elbows were clean. He was doing a good job in those positions. But he got away from it. He got into the whole, okay, let me be a showman. And I don't know if he's making half. He may not be making half, but majority of fighters are making half and half for their pay. If he's not making half, then more power to him. But if he is, you just cost yourself, I don't know if it was 80 grand, 100 grand. I don't know what it was. But you cost yourself some money, buddy. And it's just not worth it. It's not.
No, and what's not worth it is like we're talking about. Look, he's got a chin, man. He took Josh. You just watching him get kicked to the body, get kicked to the arm. You know what it's like when you get kicked to the arm. I've had it where my arm has gone dead. You can't feel it after you blocked a kick, and you can't feel your hand opening or closing. It's like there's no freaking. It's like it's a dead piece of meat on you. And you know that's what he's feeling because you could hear it in the kicks. That's all damage. Yeah. And it's all damage that, it starts to accrue on you and stuff. And some of the headshots, man, he was blocking that kick just with the one hand. It may have been how his hand got broken because he's not bringing the other hand over to help absorb some of that power out of that, slow that thing down, make it to where he's not getting hit. And no matter what, his brain is still getting rattled. And you saw him get rattled, even though his hand got up there to block the kick. Your brain's still absorbing the shock of that kick. It's a heavy weapon, man. And there were times you look and you go, God damn, he is unbelievably tough as far as being able to take damage. But you can only take so much. And it finally, there came that point. It came to the point where that's too much, and now everything is falling apart, and that's what happened in the fight.
Yep. Yeah, because when you look at that, had he kept that first round, on the ground instead of backing out, it would have changed the whole dynamic of the rest of the fight.
Well, he won the first round because when he hurt him too.
Yeah. Had he been able to get a takedown in the second, I remember they got into a mix. I think it was in the second, and he was able to get him down again. And he let him right up. And so doing all that, though, as the fight goes on longer, you're just opening yourself not only to take more damage, but in situations like this, let's say he punched the top of his head and he broke his hand that way. That was something that didn't need to happen. Could have kept the fight on the ground. I mean, there's so many different ways you can get injured in this scenario, and the longer the fight goes, the chances are more likely. So in this type of situation, he could be out for, if he has to get a plate in his hand, I mean, he could be out for 6 to 8 months based off of his hand being broken. Now, like Cain Velasquez had broke his hand one time, and or not, maybe it wasn't Cain, I think it was DC. One of them broke their hand. And they kept trying to kick the bag, even with their hand casted. They were kicking the bag. And then they came back and they're like, your bone's not healing. It's not healing at the rate it should be. It's like, you're working out. It's like, yeah, I'm working out. I said, no, you can't be running. The vibration of your bones in your body will keep the bone from fusing back together. You've got to stop. You can't do anything for 3 or 4 weeks. He's like, oh, okay. Didn't do anything for 3 or 4 weeks, was healed up right away. But he kept going to the doctor, the fighters are that way. Oh, it's casted. It's not going to hurt him more. But then they keep doing things. They keep working out. They keep running. They keep kicking the bag. They keep trying to hit the bag with one hand. Whatever it is. Well, it slows the process of the healing down. So I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but if he ends up having to have a plate put in or the bone is broken severely or whatever it is, hopefully he has a quick return so he can get back on the money-making train. Because it's important. And when you realize you just cost yourself, $100,000 plus you're out for now 6 months, that's a lot. That's a lot. Hurts. But overall, though, John, the fight was better than I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a good fight, but this fight was better than I thought it was going to be. But it's because of the way he fought. That's what made it good. That's what made it so fun.
Yeah, you had someone that actually decided, I'm going to stand up and just have a stand-up battle with Wonder Boy. Not the smartest thing to do. Anyone can tell you that. Yeah. But it did make it fun, and it was a rock'em sock'em affair through a lot of it. There was how many freaking wacky things happened in it, but. Well,
that's here's the other thing though too, is that Kevin Holland is not used to dealing with someone who fights southpaw. He could not move his head off line to save his life. He thought because he was taller and longer that he could just move his head away and back away like he does with everyone else. He must have forgot that Stephen Thompson's 6 foot. I mean, he was able to get there, and the way he throws straight.
He must have forgot that Stephen Thompson doesn't throw looping shots. He throws things right down the pipe.
Yep, and that was a huge difference in the fight. Huge, and Stephen Thompson couldn't seem to miss that straight left. It was there all day long. It was just bat. He looked like a Pez dispenser. It was just
dude. It was impressive how hard he hit him sometimes, and Kevin Holland just he shrugged it off.
Absolutely. All right, next fight.
Next fight was RDA going back up to the welterweight division, taking on Brian Barberena. This fight was not what I wanted to see, but it was exactly what I thought I would see. If RDA was going to get the win, he was going to do it by getting into a grappling exchange, getting the takedown, and working for a submission against Barberena. That was the smart way to go about this fight. The dumb way would have been to stand with him. And we've seen in the past that RDA is not a dumb fighter. He's smart. He goes against Paul Felder, take Paul Felder down. He goes against Barberena, take Barberena down. Well, that's why RDA walked off with a really nice win, and he deserved it. He is visibly smaller, though, at welterweight. When you look at him comparatively, man, you look and you go, man, he's given up a lot.
Yeah, John, I sat on here on our midweek show and was like, this is not a good fight for RDA. Well, fuck, did he ever prove me wrong? He was like, I got this, son. What are you talking about? Fucking washed out old fighter? It's like, what are you saying? Yeah. I mean, realistically, I thought that Barberena was going to be too big for him and the takedowns would have been a little bit harder for him. They weren't. They were easy. When he did get him down, Barberena had nothing. He had no way of getting up. Once his back or his hips hit the ground, as he started to slip back, there was nothing. Once that low back started hitting the ground, RDA was all over him on his back, on his chest pressure, mount. Like, he was just all over him the whole fight. Great job, great performance by him. Threatened a little bit on the feet, got Barberena to open up, then he lowered the level and just chain wrestled it to death. Nice trips, nice work of the foot, of using his feet for the foot sweeps.
Yep.
Those are all things that are overlooked by majority of wrestlers in MMA.
The thing that he did that was really nice, if you look, he didn't shoot in for the takedown. That's not what he did. He clinched up and then worked from the clinch against the guy. He's not going to be able to just shoot in and take Barberena down with a double leg. That's not going to work. He's not going to outmuscle him. He's going to have to get really deep, and he's going to have to shoot it where Barberena almost just would stand there. So you got to look and say, that clinch position, just riding that, using your hands up and down, switching from a single leg back to a body lock, and then with all the sweeps and the trips, it works very well for him. He made it look easy. He did a good job, and we know that Barberena is a tough fighter and he's strong. He doesn't have that body type that people are going to look at and go, oh, he's a strong guy. He's strong, and he's proved that in all of his fights. And I just, you look and when we talk about fight IQ, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is what you're looking for. A guy that doesn't go out there and fight his opponent's fight. He makes the opponent fight the fight that he can win. And that's what he did.
Smart fighter. I mean, former champion. There's a reason why, he's good. And the one thing with him, not the one thing, there's multiple things with him. He's just so well-rounded. He has options to not have to fight those fighters' fights. Not every fighter has that option. They're maybe good at one area, maybe they're good, in 2 areas, but they're not good in 3 and 4 and 5 areas. The wrestling, the scrambles, the jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, the striking, the kickboxing. I mean, a little bit of I'll talk about with the Michael Johnson fight. Same thing when we get to that. But Michael Johnson is now just a boxer. I thought he looked good tonight, but he's got kicks. He's obviously got wrestling. We saw it tonight, but he could be so much more. I know that he's older now as well, but mixing everything up a little bit more would open up his hands so much more. With RDA, he doesn't get away from it. He understands what he's good at, but he also continues to evolve and get better all the way around. And Michael Johnson has the same ability and has had the same ability for a long time, but you've seen fighters tend to get away from that sometimes, John. Yeah. Is that they get into a groove of just being a boxer or just being a wrestler or just being a kickboxer. No doubt
that's exactly what's occurred.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll talk about that.
Yep.
Mateus Nicolau against Matt Schnell. Matt had to cut off his hair to get his half a pound of weight so he can make weight. He came in there with a beautifully shaved dome, but it was not enough to get past Mateus, who is very sharp, moved well. In a certain way, when you looked at it, Schnell looked frustrated with the movement of Nicolau in that he kept on marching him down, and then he would cut off the angle, and as soon as Nicolau would go the opposite way, he would start chasing him back there, cut off that angle. Nicolau, and you could see that Schnell was getting almost visibly frustrated with it, and you look and you go, why are you frustrated? Why are you acting that way? You know what he's going to do, and you know what you need to do to stop that motion that he's doing. You just got to commit and do it. But Nicolau had the power, put him down, ends the fight. Second round, nice job. It was a very well planned fight. I was very surprised when he came out and said that the UFC at this point he's out of his contract. That was odd for a guy that had that many wins in a row.
6, right? 6 in a row.
Yeah,
I believe it was odd. 6 in a row. It's not odd to me. I think what it is no. The reason being is because at 125, I don't think they really have I think they just keep it to keep it. They've got a couple guys. They got to fill some slots. They've got to have this many fights.
Yeah.
Let's keep the weight division. But they're not. I don't think they're willing to stretch themselves to pay these guys a ton of money at 125. There's not a lot of them there yet. The weight class hasn't been built back up just yet to a level of where there's a plethora of guys to be like, hey, they're all household names, which they're not. There's just 2 right now in that division. There's Moreno and Figueiredo. And, I mean, you could say Henry if you wanted to go back down, but I don't know if Henry can make that weight anymore.
Have you seen Henry?
He's a little thick these days.
Henry's looking bam.
Yeah, I think what Schnell needs to understand, and most young fighters need to understand, is that you use movement to set up your shots, but you also use it to frustrate your opponent. You also use it to make them extend, to make them reach, to make them to put them out of position so you can counter, but then they can throw and overexert themselves, reach and lunge in for things. A little bit of what Kevin Holland was doing to Stephen Thompson. He was trying to jump into some stuff. He was getting caught off guard right off the bat. Boom. So those are things that Matt Schnell needs to work on, and young fighters, just keep that in mind. Like, if you're having to chase, don't get frustrated, but chase by closing the distance and throwing something off of closing that distance. One of the biggest mistakes that young fighters will make, even some more advanced fighters will make, is that they close that distance, but they rush in without throwing anything.
Yeah.
You've got to close that distance by throwing something, whether it's a jab, whether it's a push kick, whether it's a feint, and then throwing something off the feint, getting them to react a little bit. That's the most important part in closing that distance when you're trying to cut the ring off against someone. If you just walk right in, you're target practice. And, Kevin Holland found that out tonight, and Schnell did as well, as he started chasing after him. That works against you. So those are things to keep in mind.
All right. You had the big heavyweight matchup. I told you.
John, I'm going to be honest, man. I was like 1-4. Or one. I was 1 for 4 in the first 4 fights. It was horrible.
Look, the power of Pavlich is he got scary power, man. He throws he throws hard. And Tai Tuivasa, who I love the guy, but in my opinion, he's tailor made for what Pavlich brings, and he's going to try to sling with him, and that's not a good idea. And Sergey proved why he is in the position he's at. Look, this guy's moving up into that. He is. You got, if they put Ngannou and Jones together, Pavlich against Cyril Gane, I don't know, but man, he's definitely up in that atmosphere right now. Yeah,
what's funny is that I totally forgot that he trained at AKA for years. He was there. He was there, and I was like, as soon as I saw him walk to the cage, I was like, this dude's been at AK for a while. Like, he hasn't been there for a little bit because of COVID situation, I believe. But used to. But he was there. And then when he did the post-fight interview, and he's like, DC used to hold me down, wouldn't let me up. And I was like, I knew that's him. But he was skinnier back then. And John, he wasn't. Thick. He, like, when you watch someone go with DC and you watch him go with Kane, you watch him go with Todd Duffy and other guys, and back then he wasn't as good as he was now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's grown a lot since. Let me just be honest. What I saw tonight was very impressive, because he didn't look like that in the gym. I'm just being honest. I'm like, but then again, not many people look like that against DC and Kane. Not, those guys don't look that way against, you know what I mean? Like, but he's definitely gotten a lot better. You could tell his confidence has gotten a lot higher.
Oh, yeah.
He believes in what he's doing. He used to, when he would train at AK, he was more of like a push kick up the middle, kind of long jab, maybe throw the right hand. Like, he was trying to keep the distance. He almost like he fought like Volkov.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Does not fight like Volkov at all.
No, he doesn't fight like Volkov like that. He fought great tonight. And to answer my question on the Tai Tuivasa thing, his chin's not gone. He just took some heavy shots. And I remember we were concerned that possibly it was too fast, all those things. It wasn't too fast. He just got out.
Too much.
It was just too much. Yeah. He just fought a better fighter tonight. And that was it. There was nothing else. He still could take a shot. He didn't get rocked. He took a couple big shots before he got
rocked, and he fought back.
Yeah, he's still there. So, nothing against him at all. He just fought the better fighter tonight. That's how the cookie crumbles. On days like this.
I agree.
So good stuff for him. Go ahead.
But look, Pavlich he puts a nice new presence into that heavyweight division. Because look, if you're looking at it, the one thing to do is exactly what he was saying. Wrestle. You got to wrestle him. Someone's got to.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of people in the heavyweight division that can do it. So
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a big guy.
Roman Dolidze versus Jack Hermanson. That was actually an entertaining fight, I thought. I really enjoyed it. The transition that Dolidze went to when Hermanson was on top of him, and just transition to inverted triangle to then to the leg lock. He reminded me of Judo Gene LaBelle. He looked fantastic. He caught him with that calf slicer. And look at when you're stuck in that calf slicer, nowhere for you to go. You can't move.
Nope.
You are stuck. You've got a man that's 200 and some pounds trapping your leg, penciling your leg between, his, and all that weight on top. I mean, there was nothing for Hermanson to do. He was stuck.
He was hoping time would run out. That's what he was hoping. Yeah. Dolidze looked good. Like he had some moments there where
How about that reversal?
That was the first one.
And they tried to say that was good technique. No, that was strength. Well, it was good technique in getting it up, but as he flung him, I was like, holy shit.
You could tell he's got, like I said, he's got like that wiry strength. Like you can tell when you get in his guard.
He's got that goddamn fucking crushing strength.
It's hard to be it hurts to be in his guard. It hurts to be like in a clinch. You just look at his body and it's like, oh gosh, man, like it doesn't even seem like it's like a Yoel Romero. If you kick him, probably it fucking hurts you more than him. Yep. His thigh too, and you're like, oh, this is disgusting. He's one of those guys. He tried to come underneath the nice little armbar. He couldn't get it, and he just hipped up and hipped him over, and it was nicely done. Got to that top position, and there were scrambles and some other occasions, and was able to come out of that back door, get to the calf slicer. Nice stuff.
Beautiful transition.
He's going to be someone to reckon with.
I like the call out.
I do. I like it too, but the UFC's not doing that.
No. God, no. He could beat him. Possibility. I'm not saying he would, but he has the tools to possibly beat him. So you look and go.
Well, he did lose it. He lost a takedown to Hermanson, which means he'll probably lose a takedown to Chimaev.
Well, I'm not saying that he wouldn't, but just seeing how he was off of his back.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, get into a leg lock situation.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Well, who else would be next for him, John?
Well,
the same thing with Sergey. Like if we look at Sergey also, like who else would be next for him?
Well, Sergey, you'd have to take a look, and honestly, it'd be someone in the quality of
like
Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, Cyril Gahn. If you're taking a look at the upper echelon, because you got Stipe there, where I don't know what they're doing with Stipe. John and Francis, I take out of the equation because they're trying to match those up. So you figure early 2023, that should be the matchup, and that's a great matchup. So you either got Curtis Blades or Stipe Miocic. If Stipe would take that fight, I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like Stipe only wants to fight for the title.
Yes, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I wouldn't want to fight Sergey either.
No.
But then if you're gonna it's gonna be Blades versus John Jones if they don't get the Ngannou thing done. So that just leaves Cyril Gahn. So then Cyril Gahn that'd be a good matchup.
That would be good.
That'd be a good matchup. And then what was the other fight? With Dolidze. He'll be in there now taking Hermanson's spot. So that's at 185 there, Dave. So if we're looking at that, there we go.
I'm so used to seeing Izzy that threw me off there, seeing Pereira.
I mean, if you look at that, where's Hermanson? He was at 8.
8.
So he'll go up to 8. I mean, shit, you have Dolidze versus Costa would be good. Dolidze versus Vettori would be good. Somewhere in that mix.
Or Brunson.
Yeah, because he replaced Brunson, correct? Because Brunson was supposed to fight Hermanson. Yeah. I mean, I'd be more looking for him to fight someone like a Marvin Vettori or a Cannonier somewhere in there. I mean, he's on what, 5-fight or 6-fight win streak or something like that?
I don't know, but
Guy's good, man. He's good.
I mean, you got to figure he's not even on. He wasn't even on their top 15, and he beat Chris Curtis, who is.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right, who else we got?
Eric Anders had a fantastic fight against Kyle Dacus. He looked good. You know, I like how he says he's like, I have an ugly fight style. No, you don't. You got a really fucking, good fight style and he fought smart. He didn't go to the ground with Dacus. He didn't play around. He picked him apart on the feet when he was, over the top of him. Decided, if he was going to kick or try to jump in, but when he went after him, he went after him. I looked at it and I go, that was a beautiful performance by Eric Anders, which you don't always get because sometimes you think, he's an athlete. He's got all this, behind him, and things just don't go his way. And in this one, I thought this would be a hard fight for him going against Dacus because of the length, because of the ground game. I thought that could get him in trouble. No, he fought beautiful, fought smart, effective, threw that left hand down the pipe. He was accurate. That was a beautiful fight by Eric Anders.
Yeah, John, when we talked about this in the midweek show, I said the longer this fight goes, the more it favors Dacus. Now, I didn't anticipate Anders coming in, being in shape, looking fresh. He looked good. His body looked like more trim. He looked more fit. Like the last two fights, he looked like he was like over muscular. This fight, it looks like he had kind of trimmed it all down. He was carrying the right amount of muscle for his body, and you saw it in a little bit in the performance. Things were cleaner, the bounce in his step, all of those things played a big factor. Now, maybe I'm just imagining things, but I thought he looked fantastic.
I thought he looked comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. He looked a lot more comfortable in there, and maybe it's just the opponent matched up right for him and everything like that. But Kyle Dacus is a tough guy, and he's got a lot of skill. And Eric Anders he made it look pretty easy. I mean, I wasn't sure Dacus was going to make it through the first round with him. He did, but man, he took a lot of damage. And second round, he finished him off. So great fight by Eric Anders.
Next,
Philip Rowe against Nico Price. This was a great comeback in that third round because Philip Rowe was winning the fight. Nico comes out. He starts putting it on him. He has him almost out. And here comes Philip Rowe back to put it on Nico, who we know Nico's can take a lot of damage. He's tough as hell. And it was the right thing to stop the fight when they did. I thought Philip Rowe had a fantastic performance. He had a nice thing for his mom who's got cancer. I want to praise the UFC for everything that they did in this show for the Jimmy V Foundation, Stuart Scott, all that stuff. Well, it's the V Foundation is still the thing, but it's I love all the way that they allow the stories to come out and stuff, but to lend some light to that and hopefully get people interested in those organizations. It was great. So good for the UFC.
Exactly. I thought that Philip Rowe gassed Nico Price out on his face. Nico Price he went for the kill.
Dude,
didn't get it.
Put everything he had into it to get rid of him.
Didn't get it. They got clipped after about 30 seconds of that, and then just couldn't recover. Had nothing left in the gas tank to recover and was done. Good stoppage, I agree, John. I normally would say let it go a little bit more, but you could tell he was so exhausted. His head was down low. He was dipping, all these things. The Izzy stoppage was a bad stoppage. This stoppage though was good. I get it. You guys, if you guys can't sense my sense of humor, okay, my sarcasm.
All right, Angela Hill against Emily Ducote. We think we kind of called this one exactly the way it went. The speed of Angela Hill, the range, and the fact that Emily Ducote is more of a stand-up fighter. Angela Hill more of a stand-up fighter. Angela Hill was just more accurate. If there was one thing, and she was very Anderson Silva-like with her Muay Thai plum. And Emily Ducote was very Rich Franklin-like in not being able to get out of it. She did not have the technique to get herself from that, and it caused her nothing but problems. She took some huge knees to the midsection. She took a lot of hard elbows that came over the top when Angela decided to, break free of it. Just beautiful performance, I thought, overall by Angela Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I looked at this is we've seen Dakota fight several times in Bellator.
Yep.
And when I watched her fight there, I saw the same exact thing. When she started getting touched, when she couldn't handle the speed or she couldn't figure out her opponent, she shut down. You can't win fights if you don't throw punches. She just got froze. John, she was like a deer in headlights, just looking at her going, I don't know how to move my head left or right. All I know how to do is just take a shot to the face, and that was it. And I like Emily Ducote a lot. I think she's a good fighter. But she's good when she's the hammer. She is not good when she's the nail.
Well, hold on. I understand what you're saying, but she was actually a very tough nail in this. But she's not good. She can't change her approach to a fight. She was unable, because it's very simple. When I say it's very simple. It's not simple. But when you have someone like Angela Hill that's coming forward and putting pressure on you, and you have decided, okay, I don't know how to stop just that forward motion. It's too much for me, and I'm going to back away. It's okay to back away, create an angle, throw strikes, and get yourself out again, create another angle, throw your strikes. But when you're not throwing, all you're doing is backing away, and you're nothing but a target. And I'm not going to say that, she's not a good nail. No, she took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So that's being a good nail. It's just not being a smart fighter.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. I should rephrase that then. She is a good nail. She can take damage.
Yeah.
What I meant was what I meant by being a good nail is that someone that can take damage and deliver damage back, but still taking damage. Because I like the nail to put up a little bit of a fight. She was taking the damage, but she wasn't fighting back.
You want a smarter nail.
Yeah, I just want someone that will fight back. Like, look, a loss is a loss.
You want Darren Elkins.
Kind of, but
he
less
fights
damage.
back.
He does. He does. I mean, he's another guy we got to talk about possibly retiring. It's like with her, I've seen it too many times with her. If it's not going her way, she can't make adjustments during the fight, and she can't adjust. She can't adjust. She just can't adjust. She can't operate on the fly is what I was trying to say.
Yeah. There's no plan B.
Yeah, if this isn't working, her corners can't get through to her, whatever it is, she just can't make those adjustments, and she can't operate on the fly to change her game plan. And it doesn't work. Whatever it is she's doing is not working. And the speed, you could tell right off the bat, the speed was giving her a problem. She was blinking a little bit more than normal. She was not able to, she like just got stuck there. And when that happens, that lets you know that you need to move your head left to right. Whether you think you're going to get hit or not, move your head left to right. Because I'd spar with, Tomas Dion, and he was so damn fast. Move your head left to right. Just move. Like, as soon as you start to see his body move at all, move. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to miss if you're lucky. But I'm saying, like, at least you're not staying directly there in front of him. She just wasn't moving her head at all, and it was just target practice. And I was like,
oh. It was target practice.
Yeah, felt bad for her, to be honest.
Next. You got to figure, I believe that there was a 10-8 round by one of the judges in that fight. She never even went down.
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh, no, I know, John.
So, all right, Clay Guida against Scott Holtzman. I hated this fight. Hated it. And it's not, the reason I hated it is I didn't want either guy to lose. I love Clay Guida. He's the Energizer Bunny still to this day at the age of 40. Scott Holtzman, I've known Scott for a long time. Great guy. And, Clay's wrestling in the end. I thought Scott's wrestling would be able to nullify Clay's for the most part. It was really the question of, would he start to gas under the pressure of Guida, or would he be able to touch Clay enough that where Clay wasn't able to get into him? He wasn't able to touch him that much in the stand-up with not great quality shots, and Clay was able to get into him, work him, and eventually just wear him down. And he wore him down, man. He sucked the life right out of him, and it was a clean win, in my opinion, for Clay Guida. I know it was a split decision.
Should
not have been.
Yeah.
No.
I had it the same way. That first round, I think, went to
Holtzman.
And then after that, Clay was able to start getting takedowns, able to start grinding on him. He landed some clean shots. Holtzman started getting tired, started becoming more hittable, and the fight started to unfold for Clay. Clay does what Clay is going to do. He's gonna that herky. People don't realize that herky jerky style.
Not easy.
Jardine. It's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
It's hard to
throws you off.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect, and then the punches come from different angles sometimes, and you don't know if they're herking or they're jerking, or if they're throwing the punch. You don't know if they're doing any of that. So, but look, at 40 years old, you got to tip your hat to him, man. It was kind of weird seeing him with shorter hair, though.
Dude, I was like, holy shit, Clay cut his hair.
Yeah, kind of threw me off a little bit.
Years ago, I told him, sitting there talking to him, I said, Clay, I said, you're, because he says, John, what do I have to do? He says, these judges, I said, Clay, your hair is bipping and bopping and moving even when you don't get hit solid. Yeah. And it's what the judges see, is they see your hair, jerking back and forth, and it looks like you took a good shot. I go, you need to either tie it up or cut your hair. You go, I can't cut my hair. That's like my trademark. Well, he finally cut his hair.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Tip my hat, man. Good on you, buddy. Good on you. You're still doing your thing. Good. Next fight.
Michael Johnson taking on Mark Diakese. Man, this is that fight where, it's funny, at the end of it, Diakese really believed that he had won the fight. And when
he couldn't believe he won the fight.
He did. You can see when they went 30-27 with one of the scores, he had that look like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
You couldn't you couldn't really believe this. But he did.
He did.
But this is where this is the tale of two different fighters. When you look at Michael Johnson, started as a wrestler. Mark Diakese has started as a striker. He's now grappling more, which is good, but he gets tired doing it, and he's not effective with a lot of it, against someone like Johnson, who has, the years behind him as far as the wrestling. He was able to, even when Diakese got deep on him a couple times, and you saw the sprawl that Johnson was able to do. But Johnson needs to, at times, put Diakese in that position where he has to think about the thought that Michael Johnson might take me down. It will help Johnson stand up, because Johnson stand up, his hands are still fast, and he likes to stand and throw. But give your opponent more things to deal with, more things to have to think about than just basically fighting a boxer. It's crazy that a guy has turned himself just into that. Michael he'll throw kicks every now and then, but not a lot. He throws his hands.
Yeah.
And he's good with throwing his hands. But, man, he could be so much more effective if he made people have to at least think about dealing with the other elements that he can do.
Mm-hmm. If he would utilize, people don't realize how good of a wrestler he is, because I was supposed to fight him. So I did some research on him and stuff back in the day, picked up some of his old wrestling matches. The kid can wrestle.
Yeah.
And then Rumble Johnson was training out there around the same time, and then they were all together at Black Zillions, I believe, too.
Yep.
And then, I had a lot of people that trained there, just kind of, we were talking, and they're like, dude, he can wrestle. Because my game plan originally when the fight was announced was for me I'm going to take this dude down. He can't stop my takedown. I know I'm way better than him on the ground. Then as I started looking into him, I'm like, well, he's fast, he's explosive, he's got good hands, they're quick. If I don't get the takedown, man, I could be in some trouble. So we started talking about leg kicks, because we saw his legs are a little skinny. So we were talking about the leg kicks and things like that, talking about possibly doing some foot sweeps. But he was a threat back then because he used to kick more. But now, John, he doesn't kick at all. It's just like, I think he threw maybe 5 kicks in this fight, maybe 7.
If that.
Yeah, he's got to throw more because that sets up your hands. And then when you wrestle too, feint the takedowns and then come back up with the hands. That'll open up everything. You just know that he's not gonna do anything else but box, and it just changes the way you approach your fighter. You know what I mean? When you, if I would have known back then, if I had fought the Michael Johnson now, the one that just boxed him, it felt like it would have been a lot easier of a game plan. But back then I had to worry about him potentially taking me down. I had to worry about trying to get him down and not gassing myself out. And he used to throw a couple kicks here and there, a little bit more than he is now. Not as many, but man, he had a fast jab. His jab was
fast hands.
Fire, man, back then.
Yep.
I mean, like, I didn't see a lot of that jab tonight, but fuck, he was smoking that jab back then. If you go back and watch the Justin Gaethje fight, just snapping dudes' heads back with that jab. Same thing with the I think it was Josh Emmett fight. Just snapping that jab. I was like, damn, this kid's fast. I was worried about that because I sparred with Tomas, and Tomas was, I was like this all the time, just snapping like a fucking, like you
just
said
saying
before.
yes,
yeah, like a Pez dispenser, right? Just like, give me the candy, give me the candy. I'm
empty.
Get my ass kicked, man. So he was one of those guys I was worried about, and that jab, man, was nasty. But good for him. I'm glad he's getting older in age too, and you know, getting these wins is priceless at this age when you start thinking about it.
Yep.
And cherish these moments, my man. Good for him.
Jonathan Pierce against Darren Elkins. This is one of those. I love Darren Elkins. It's just tough as nails, but he's taking too much damage.
Yeah.
He's got damage tattooed on his chest, and he has taken too much.
Yep. I don't even want to see him fight anymore. I like him. I think he's a dog. I love it, but I can't support watching fighters get beat up like that. I just can't do it. It's just, look, we all have our time. It's just time. It's just time. Like you're not, it's not competitive anymore. There was 2 judges had it 30-26 and the other judge had it 30-27.
Yep.
I mean, it was not good. And so I don't know. Like for me, John, like I think, you know, when that last fight happened with Patricky for me, I was like, man, you can't even take a headbutt anymore.
Well, you took the headbutt well.
Yeah, you need to retire.
No, you took the headbutt well. You jumped right back up from that sumbitch.
Long enough to get myself knocked back out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I go back and I watch it, I'm like, dude, like it's just time. It's just time. I watched it back a couple of times. I'm like, yeah, you were hurt, you were injured, like you were out. Just let it go. Like there's no reason to keep fighting for this. The problem with guys like him, they don't ever go out. They just get cut up even more often. Like, you know, like a Nate Diaz, him and Nick, both they get cut up everywhere. But they still got some left in the tank. I had a buddy though that was a kickboxer at AKA, and he would go and he'd fight. He was a fantastic kickboxer. Fought in K1 a couple times. Beat a bunch of guys. He was a smaller guy, about 145. He fought, I think he fought at 145. But he was the type of guy that would get knocked out on the feet. So he would take more shots. Remember how Dave Monet and Phil Baroni were? He would stand up. He'd be stood up like that, just getting hit, and he would stay standing, but he was out. And it usually took like 5 or 6 or 8 more shots because the ref didn't realize what was going on. Like, wait, he's kind of up. He's kind of doing this, but he's out. And I felt bad because he was the guy that seemed like he took way more shots than he should have because the refs were like, oh, is he in? Oh, wait, is he out? Is he in? Those are the ones that scare me. Elkins he gets cut up a lot. He takes a lot of big shots, but he's still there. He keeps fighting.
He's just tough as hell.
Yeah, and you know what else? What kind of but is when fighters they kind of blow their wad on trying to get him out of there, and they have to rest. So they go real hard, and the ref's about to stop it, but they get tired, and then they stop, and then they're like, okay, then the ref lets it go, and then they come back and they do it again, and then they blow themselves out. They get tired, and the ref. Okay, backs away. You're like, just keep going for 2 or 3 more punches. But
just keep going.
That's what happens, man, with guys like him because they're so tough. John, any other fights on this card you want to talk about?
No, we're good.
All right. Good to everyone there on the UFC card. You know, I wouldn't say it lived up to the potential of because there was a lot of good fights on there, but there were some good fights that actually they did really well. They were
really good fights in there.
That main event was fire, though.
That was fire. It was great.
Yep. Absolute fantastic fight.
Yep.
Great fight. All right, let's get into some one championship. I know we didn't talk about this in the midweek show because our producer didn't do his job and let us know there was a fight. But I did scroll through a bunch of stuff, and then I found out that there was a one fighting championship this weekend. So John and I went out of the way, and we were like, oh, you know what? Let's find this, and we watched it.
Absolutely.
Yes, we did. All righty. So, talk to me, Goose. What'd you think?
Look, Anatoly Malikin is a fucking monster as far as that dude is very Sergey Pavlovich-like. He likes to hit hard. He likes to put himself in a position. He throws a big looping overhand right. You know, Rainier de Ridder has been great with one. Middleweight champion, light heavyweight champion. Anatoly is the interim heavyweight champion. They're talking about either stripping
Arjun.
Arjun Buhar.
Yeah.
And they're talking about stripping him. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if they do, Anatoly will then be a 2-division champion as heavyweight and now light heavyweight. But that was the first loss for de Ridder, and it wasn't even close, Josh.
No, John, this fight was at heavyweight.
Through him.
This fight was at heavyweight. De
Well,
Ridder was trying.
Yeah, but this is what they call their light heavyweight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
This
I
is
thought
that
it was
whole
at
weight.
heavyweight.
This is that whole weight thing.
Got it.
No, the weight that they're actually at this was like their light heavyweight, I believe.
Interesting.
Title fight.
Okay. Because they kept saying heavyweight.
Well, think about
They
it.
kept saying they're fighting for the heavyweight title, so I thought they were fighting for the heavyweight title. Or they're fighting at heavyweight, so
No,
this is for
did
the
you see
title.
Did you see how they handed Anatoly 2 belts?
No, I turned it off.
Oh man!
As soon as the fight ended, I turned it
Watch
off.
all through.
No. Over there, you got to get like 7 translators. You got to listen to each one of their questions. No, I'm good,
Yes.
man. I worked there for years, bro. I know what it's like. I went to the cage and had to do an interview. Okay, you do the translate. Okay, give you the mic. You say it to him. You say it to him. You give it back to me. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
this is a lot. Overall, look, de Ridder's good. He's really good. But once he had no answer for not getting the takedown, he was lost.
Yeah,
He was lost.
He took some, but you really got to give it to Anatoly as far as Malikin. The one thing that Malikin really did, he went to the body, and that just destroyed de Ridder.
Mm-hmm.
Those body shots. Once he decided to take the shots down, then he brought them back up. Then he'd bring them back down. The body shots were huge, and just took it out of de Ridder in that fight. And you look at that's the first guy that's been able to do that to him. So that's very impressive.
You know what else that does though? When you go to the body like that, it makes it harder for them to reach out and grab you because their natural instinct is to drop
Bring
their
those elbows in. Yep.
Bring those elbows in. Now they can't clinch you and grab you, and that was a great job by him. So it was a very dominant performance. He looked good. Was the first round?
That was first round.
First
dude.
2 minutes. No, first 2 minutes or whatever. He had lost. I think he had lost the takedown. Got stuck a little bit on bottom and then came back up. But then he was just all him. It was the first minute, I think, he lost the takedown. And then he got back up to his feet, and he just looked good, man. He was touching him, hitting the body, coming back up to the top. He did a great job of mixing it up, and then de Ridder had no answer.
Yep.
No answer on how to get the fight back down to the ground. You could tell they were having an effect on him and his cardio and everything as well. Next.
You had Ramazanov against Roberto Soldic. You and I had been talking to Roberto in Ireland when he was talking about where he was going to go and what he was going to do. And, we said, go with the money, brother, go with the money. And he did. And he got a no contest off of a groin strike.
Yep.
It's too bad. And people need to, if you haven't watched Soldic fight, give him a chance, man. The dude's a stud. He's going to be really good. They're probably going to rematch this thing, and it only was 2 minutes into the first round, so it needs to be redone. But other than that, there was the grappling championship with
With my man.
your
You have Ty and Cade. Yep, with the brothers, Ty and Cade Ruotolo. Fantastic performance by both of them. I mean, I thought Cade had the knee bar coming into that match. What was it, like probably 7 minutes in, I think. That thing was he dropped down on the heel hook, couldn't get the heel hook, great transition to the knee bar, locked it in. I thought he had it. Yeah, then he was able to kind of wiggle his knee out, and then he came back up to the top. But he looked good, man, right from the get. I loved how he did the inside ankle pick to start the match off. So instead of coming around on the outside, he reached on the inside So he swept almost like he was shooting a high crotch. Then he reached back around on the backside of that heel and pulled it forward. Now, like if you're not really watching grappling a lot, whatever it is, but this type of thing is normally set up like some of the Dagestani wrestlers and some of the Russian wrestlers use this. They use it like in a Russian tie also. They'll grab on the inside of on the wrist, and they'll do the same thing. There's a video of Islam doing that to Chase Saldana. Yeah. So what he'll do is he'll reach for
Chase
the
Saldana.
back. Chase Saldana. Yeah, he wrestled at Gilroy State champ. Now he's at University of Michigan. He's at Michigan State. But fantastic young kid too. Great wrestler. But Islam did that to him as well. But you do the same thing on that inside ankle pick as well. So you reach through on the inside, and he's hooking on the inside, and he's pulling towards it, almost like he's doing a foot sweep. Nicely done, man. Beautiful. Yeah. And then he also wasn't trying to get the takedown, or he was, but he realized it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
He let it go. He let it go, though, right away. Didn't overcommit on it. Came right back up to the body lock. Big lift, big slam. Nicely done. Kid's a stud. Both of them. Ty and Cade. And if you guys have never met them, they are two of the nicest damn kids. So fantastic.
Well, Ty got the finish, right?
Yeah, Ty got the finish.
Cades went to a decision.
Cades went the distance, yes. Yeah. But what I love is that they understand what this is about. This is the entertainment business. You know, you had Cade's opponent chasing after him a little bit on the butt. Get up, man. If you lose takedown, you lose takedown. Like, that's really what it came down to. It was like, get up, get after him. It just, Ty and Cade are that way. They want to come out. They want to create exciting matches. There is a little bit of talk right now about Cade possibly competing against, I don't like to say fights.
Yeah, okay.
Competing against Gordon Ryan. So there was a little bit of beef after the ADCCs in Vegas, and there's a little bit of beef back and forth talking about some stuff. So that'd be a great match. I'd love to see that. I mean, obviously probably lean more towards Gordon, but I think it'd still be a fun match.
It would be a fun match, but there's just first off, there's a big difference in size.
Yeah.
There's a big difference in
size. There will be one in strength, and also two, just age. I mean, they're only 18 years old. I think they might be 19.
Exactly.
I think they might be 19 now.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. Right now,
yeah,
all the advantages are actually going one way.
Mm-hmm.
Give Cade a couple more years.
I'd still like to see it, John.
Give him a couple more years.
All right, next. What else? I didn't watch these. See, this is what I don't like about one. They have it on the MMA, but I didn't see these fights.
Yeah, that's because they were way down.
Yeah, they were way at the beginning of the card. Yeah. So, because I would have loved to have watched Foil Long fight, and then I did watch Tynanis or whatever his name was. He looked good. He looks like a fucking monster. His back and he's just ripped and shredded. I'm like, holy shit. Other than that, I didn't see these other fights, so I don't know why I was watching whatever's available on Prime. So that's what I hate about that.
Dave, let's talk about some things going on in the world of combat sports.
Is there anything you guys want to touch on with the boxing?
Tyson Fury had a good performance. Honorable mention, my man. Good job, and he did what we all thought he was going to do.
Against Chisora, but come on. That's what I hate to say, but this is what's wrong with boxing. If that's the only fight we can get in the heavyweights, that's bullshit. Yeah. Okay. Well, Tyson should be fighting.
He said Usyk tonight. He said, I'm going to try to make that fight happen. He's like, it should be able to happen. I'm going to try to make it happen. All right. I'm down. I'm down to watch. I mean, I think he walks right through him, but I'm down.
Yeah. He's just too big for Usyk.
Yeah.
But the one that you got to love, man. I've talked to you so many times about this because, you get into that whole body type of, oh, no, his body. You want to see what a professional's body should look like. Tyson Fury is the body type. Fantastic. You see those bumpers he's got on the side? Dude, I love that dude, man. He's awesome.
John, you know what those bumpers look like. You
damn straight. I'm modeling myself after Tyson.
Yes. Gosh. It's so funny when you say, who's the fucking best boxer in the world, and you pull up a picture of him. If I put him in a lineup with like 30 people, he'd be the last person someone would pick. Not that guy.
Yep. Not that guy.
He's fantastic, though. I love him. He's must-watch TV, too. With his interviews and all the other shit, I love it. All right,
Dave, let's go.
All right. I want to get your take on this James Krause situation. So, following up on the fighting
this one's going to take a while.
Stuff. Yeah. Following up on the fight investigation stuff, now basically UFC is saying that the Nevada State Athletic Commission is not letting fighters under him fight in the UFC, and even Derek Minner was cut from the UFC as a result.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's cut from the UFC. We speculate as a result.
I saw, with what you're saying right here on November 18th, the Nevada State Athletic Commission informed UFC and Minner's coach, James Krause, that Krause's license was suspended and would remain so while the Nevada State Athletic Commission conducted an investigation into the matter. That is completely separate from what the UFC is doing. And this is where there's so much to this story. There's so much to what's going on with this. There is so many levels, because this isn't, everyone's going to look at this and go, oh, it's, the UFC did this, UFC did that. That's one element that he's got to deal with. And the UFC has told all fighters that are under James Krause that at this time they will not be given any fights if that is the person that they want in their corner for their fights. They're not allowed to compete in the UFC. So those fighters either have to go to a different gym, get a different trainer. They cannot be fighting out of Glory MMA. And so that's a huge blow for those fighters as far as, their comfort level and everything that, is the norm for them. It's all being just blown apart. For James Krause, it's a huge blow as far as, they're functionally taking away his ability to make a living.
Yep.
And when you take it and the UFC is doing that in part by saying none of your fighters are going to be allowed to compete until this investigation is over. Now the Nevada State Athletic Commission is imparting a suspension upon James Krause, and this is where it goes beyond this, is most athletic commissions, when they look at either a fighter or a trainer, and another commission has that trainer under suspension, every other commission will follow that suspension, meaning that James Krause, even in a small show in his home state of Missouri, might not be able to be in the corner of any of his fighters. He's got some big problems going on right now.
We haven't even
I haven't even touched on something.
Yeah, exactly. We're not media, so we don't dig into this shit, but I can tell you guys, I'll tell you what I do know. Not what I do know. I can't tell you everything I know because we're not media. We don't do that. He's in for a lot, man. I mean, he's looking at some serious jail time.
He can be looking at actual. Yeah. What people don't realize is there's elements of this that are actually considered. It goes under the RICO Act. Okay, it's racketeering. Because you are taking information that it's like insider trading, if you want to talk about that with the stock market or something.
All he's got to do is ask Nancy Pelosi how she gets away with it.
There you go. There's elements of fraud that are part of this.
Yeah,
there are legal elements here that James Krause could end up in a position where he's functionally fighting for his freedom.
Yeah, he's going to be
this is not a small time thing. This is huge.
Yeah.
This will be the biggest story of the year of 2022. When it all clears out, this is going to be the biggest thing that hits because it's got the most impact on the entire sport. It's got an impact that goes way beyond the UFC.
I don't even know if it's gonna go into other sports.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Gonna it's going to go into football, baseball, basketball, because they're all getting into this right now with gambling being legalized in the state of California and other states as well. They're really going to make a push to make sure that athletes can't gamble on themselves, whether it's boxing, whether it's football players. They're going to cut all that out right away. And then,
but that's already kind of, baseball's had their scandals with gambling. Pete Rose, if you're going to take a look at that, go all the way back to the 1919, White Sox with, Rothstein and what he did and stuff. There's all of that's there. The NFL has had its problems and had certain players that they, basically banned, over gambling is something that can ruin the integrity of a sport quickly. And this whole situation, and James has been on, other shows. He was on Ariel's show, I know, and talked about how much, he has that whole Discord where people pay him money to give information on who they should bet on for fights, and there's a lot there that, he's already put out that, I'm just saying investigators, trust me, they're taking all of it.
They're not just taking like what he said on that type of stuff. They've gone in and confiscated his iPads, his computers, his cell phones,
all of it.
His records. And then if you are someone like Minner, they're doing the same thing to you. They're saying, hey,
Minner's
we need your
done.
phone. Yeah, we need your phone. We need your records. We need your laptop. We need everything from you as well.
I know that Derek Minner got cut by the UFC. Stand by. No one's going to give him a contract now.
No. Because, John, once you throw a fight, you're done. You're like you should be done, but pretty much every organization, every good,
no one's gonna watch you.
Is you're like fucking not using that guy?
Yep.
No way. So it goes beyond all of that though, to the point where it's gonna trickle down. There's gonna be people, and from what I'm understanding is there's already people in his gym that have been contacted by the FBI that are knocking on their door, going, "Hey, we heard that you were part of like this and you put some money down. Oh, we heard that you were part of this too." And they're ratting on each other. They're ratting on each other already. And so it's going to be a matter of time before everyone starts, basically turning each other in and going, this is going to get nasty. This is going to get real nasty.
2 provinces in Canada banned betting on UFC as a result of like.
Oh, in Ontario?
Ontario, I know, did. What was the other one that did that? Alberta? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money revenue. That's a lot of revenue loss right there, off the bat. Yep. But I mean, let's get it all out of the way now, man. Let's start setting it. That's the thing. They didn't when they started legalizing this, they weren't planning. They obviously they knew they could keep an eye out on it. I think these MMA guys just never realized how fucking smart these gambling sites are. They just go out there and lay out these odds and be like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to watch them, but we're going to make money no matter what." No. They're watching. If someone comes in, if you've got 50 people that come in and put, $400,000 or $200,000 or $50,000, and it gets all the way up to $1 million, they're saying that people all within like the last 30 minutes or 45 minutes put down to $1 million down on him losing.
Yes.
I mean,
and that, hold it. Not only him losing in the first round. Okay. Wow. And that was after the odds went way out of proportion and they still put the money down.
Wow.
No. It's not going to look good.
Yeah, when you see odds like you saw with the RDA and Barberina fight tonight, where it was like RDA was like a plus, I think 430 or something like that by the time they got in the cage, I was like, man, I must have been way off. And that was before they fought. When I was like, son of a bitch, let me just stick to picking Islam's fights. But this is a big black eye on the sport, but. I got to be honest, as long as they're getting it done and now out of the way, they're going to lay the guidelines down. They're going to be very vocal about it. It's going to come across through every promotion, not just UFC. It's going to come across through every promotion. And every fighter is going to understand where they stand in this, during this gambling era of whatever it is we're doing right now. with the gambling on the apps, gambling, in casinos, whatever it is, they're gonna find out real quick what it's like. And so you walk on eggshells, man. If you're thinking you want to gamble, rethink it. I'm just being honest. Rethink it.
Yep.
Well,
they had that. Let's just be honest. When I was a referee, and as soon as I went to Nevada to get a license, it was very apparent quickly. How are you with gambling? No gambling ever on MMA. No gambling ever on boxing. We'll talk to you about football later. Dude, that's
wow.
I mean, look at they don't want you gambling at all.
Wow.
Only bad things can happen with it.
Yeah, I mean, look at these. There was a basketball ref that just came out recently.
Long
Came
ago.
out. No, there was another one just recently,
another one?
like another week or two ago. Yeah, it just came out and said that he had during one of the Lakers, one of the LeBron's games or whatever like that, said that he had skewed some calls to make sure that that they won or something. I got to read back up on it, but it was something along those lines. This was just literally like 2-3 weeks ago.
Well, recently, remember what was his name? Carlos Padilla was a big time boxing referee for a long time. Did I think he did the Thrilla in Manila, with Ali and Frazier, and he had some a lot of big fights. He was one of the big time referees. He had one of Manny Pacquiao's first fights, and he's a Filipino, and he actually came out saying that he purposely gave a long count when Pacquiao was dropped by I can't think of the guy's name, but he was dropped by the fighter and gave like an 18-second fucking count to get him. And you look and you go, "You're a fucking asshole."
Yeah.
You don't cheat for anybody. You fucking play it as clean as you can play it. You're gonna make mistakes. Mistakes are gonna happen, but man, when you do it on purpose, you're a fucking dog.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I'm glad we wrapped it up on a positive note. So we're going to weighingin.merch.com. You guys got to be patient with us this week because John and I are traveling for Bellator next weekend at Mohegan Sun. You got the Rafion Stotts versus Danny Sabatello. You got Patchy Mix versus Magomedov. You've got Juliana Velasquez versus Liz Carmouche. And that's a rematch of a very controversial fight from the last time that they fought, but it was a really good fight up until that controversial stoppage. But look, overall, this is going to be a good weekend of fights coming up. And make sure you guys tune in to Bellator because I'm pumped for this card. I'm really pumped, especially to see Danny Sabatello and Rafion Stotts. If you haven't heard what they had to say because they just don't shut up, the two of them, we had them on our show this last week, and you guys can check them out on our main clips, or not our clip channel, on our main channel. So we have both their interviews that are up. We were trying to have them on equally together, but then they said, I'm sick and tired of hearing the other guy talk, so I want to be on separately. So we had them on separately, but good stuff. They're on the same show. Check them out. Go to weighingmerch.com. Pick up some of our new gear. Better clothing, better hoodies, better sweaters, better sweatshirts, whatever you want to call them. Okay, some new designs that are up for you guys. Hope you guys like it. John, take us away.
For everyone out there, we hope you enjoyed the fights like we did. It is late where we're at, so we're going to go to bed. Well, no. Josh's going to go to bed. I am. I'm going to get on a car and go get on a plane. So everyone out there, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you.